Hello, everyone. Thanks. Okay, yeah. I'll just put the spotlight on. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to our session today. Uh, we'll welcome to all to our fourth webinar. And today our webinar is about another citizen science project called Moon Over Us. And to start off, we have four speakers today. We'll be starting off with Bonnie Thurber, and after that, we'll have Amritanshu, Sugumar sir, and Mohammed who talk about the project. So, welcome, Bonnie, and Miss Bonnie to the speakers who don't know her. Most of us already know her in some way or the other, but welcome, Bonnie. And Bonnie Thurber is actually the CEO of the Educational Continuum Org, that is the ECO, where she manages National Space Society's NSS's Space Edge Academy and iCollaboratory. Both are online learning collaboration environments for teachers and their K-12 plus students. These environments include STEAM and citizen science objectives. Bonnie is also a Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory affiliate, where she works on Hands-On Universe with Carl Pennypacker, astrophysicist and permanent president of Global's Hands-On Universe. Uh, she's been a Global Hands-On Universe member since 1998, and she's the president of the GHOU General Assembly. She was the president from 2014 to 2019. I would now like to talk about this. So Bonnie has received various awards, of which in 2021, she got the NSS's Award for Excellence in Education. And in 2016, she was a Fulbright Scholar. So today, Bonnie is going to talk to us about Moon Over Us, which is a citizen science project, which actually started off 11 years ago, which started off as an online project with Hongfeng Gu from China. And this was basically where students aged 10 to 14 years, they explore various information about Earth's moon and celebrations about it. Current participants share images, information about the moon, poetry, history, and science fiction stories from a variety of places in the world. The project is organized in both iCollaboratory and Space Edge Academy. Students share and exchange images and information on Padlets created and linked together by their teachers. The teachers in this current project says it fits very well into STEAM and citizen science. So we all look forward to hearing from Bonnie about this very interesting project, which unifies people all over the world with a common idea, and that's basically about the moon. So welcome, Bonnie, and I hand it over to Bonnie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Priya. And I hope everyone enjoys this.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Bonnie. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope everyone enjoys this presentation this evening or this afternoon or this morning. And I will, I guess, just begin. So let me share my screen. And I'm assuming that you can see the screen now. Yes. Let me see. I need to do one more thing.
Yes, we see it well.
All right. Oh, and I actually, I guess I'm going to leave it this size. So first, I'm going to show you a slideshow that I did 10 plus years ago. So this is what the moon was like, what technology was like, and some of the things we discovered. So if I click on this slideshow, some things have changed. The project has more, and every year it gets more advanced. So I had this preloaded, but it's may take a few minutes. Okay. So this was my favorite image in 2010. Now I'm going to just say that, so I thought this was very novel and very unique. Now it's no longer novel, it's no longer unique, and the series of images like this seem to pop out all over. This is from School to School with China, USA, and Brazil. These were the initial collaborators And you can see actually some of their names appear all over the web now in different roles. This was a poem done by Caitlin from Romeoville, St. Andrew in St. Andrew in Romeoville. I'll give you a moment to read that. Romeoville is in Illinois, USA. Then we have about the project, Navigating the Moon Over Us, iCollaboratory project. One realizes that this project is really successful in global dialogue with students participating from China, USA, and Brazil. I hope a huge amount of time. Okay, now the other comment is from Yang El in China, and I thought, since these are in opposite sides of the world, this was also interesting. We started out talking about the full moon, the lunar moon, and then the project was to last 4 weeks, and teachers were saying, we really like this. So I made 6 more projects about different things involving the moon, and we went on from there. So first in the project, everyone takes a survey about the moon, digital pictures of the moon, research and compare more moon phases. Each student created a web page in this day and age. Now we use an application called Padlet, which makes it much easier for students to share and exchange comments. It really shows a big difference in how the world has changed as technology has changed. So this is my friend Hong Fong from China. She is a director of the library, like the name, let's see, the library, anyway, the Library of Astronomy in Beijing, or she was at that time. And so she got her students to join me in this project. And this is the equipment we use. Everyone is not as lucky as Hong Fong to have a huge telescope. So I made available Galileo scopes, and the teacher who used this particular Galileo scope figured out how to attach a camera to it. And that was a very nice thing. So the project variations, we started including full moon poetry and stories, then a solar eclipse, if there was one at the time, or a lunar eclipse. We had moon history, we had moon phases and moon phases. We had more about moon phases, and then, excuse me, moon phases and faces with a webcam. This was interesting about the Brazilian moon. And you notice that they also borrowed someone's telescope so that they could see a better view of the moon. Actually, it wasn't just someone. The telescope was from one of Gustavo Rojas, who is in GHOU now. One of his friends loaned us the telescope. The friend was named David. And these are some of the the Q&A, the questions from the chat that we had. Then here are more questions and answers. So it does say one teacher, Gustavo Rojas, and I found that that's interesting. When I presented this in GHOU in August, we had the 10-year celebration. Gustavo even came into the presentation for a few minutes and showed some of his older images. This is about the Chinese moon. This person from China is Sam, was his English name. And as you can see, he's a pretty good artist, and he is very humorous too. But on the second day, when the full moon climbs up to the same place, the time is 9 p.m. And then the next 2 days, the same place, it's 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. It is very interesting, but why? The moon is very lazy. It gets up an hour later every day, which makes a very good point when you start thinking about it. This is Fred's moon. This was taken by his father. I don't know if he had a telescope where he lives or a telescope from work. In Beijing, it's always so polluted that the kids in Beijing never see the sky unless they go out into the country. That includes, you can look straight up at the sun, and sometimes the pollution is clear enough that you can see a slightly colored ball up there, but generally you just know where it is because the way it shines through the pollution is thinner than the other spaces. Okay, so these are more comments. And the A is for adult, and Joyce was really working hard on getting the kids to comment back. Your drawings and descriptions have taught us a lot with all your good details, good work. And so Jacob says, that's great. Why is the guy staring at the sky? What camera did you use? And then they get into a conversation about different cameras. This is about McHenry Middle School. It was one of the schools from the US that participated. These are pictures of the moon. Now, the exciting thing about this was because kids had to borrow their parents' cameras to go outside and take images, the parents got involved in the project as well. These are instructions of how to attach a webcam to a telescope. And this teacher wrote them up and we put them in the project. This is the Galileo telescope I was telling you about. And you can see that there are, about 12 kids in his classroom. This is a very rural school in Illinois. So they were able to get many, many pictures. So here are some of them. Here's April 13th, here's April 17th, and April 25th with Venus. So that's pretty good. Then a moon over San Carlos, Brazil posted a lot of pictures too. But this is very interesting because here's April 25th, the moon with Venus. So now we look at these two. So on April 25th in the USA, we have the moon with Venus. And in April 25th in Brazil, we have the moon with Venus. And this, of course, prompted a very interesting discussion. Why does the moon look different in the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere? And then we had, of course, a culminating survey. And students have continued their interest in the sky, gazing at stars, constellations, sun and moon. We also added a book to the project. So I have a book project for every solar star. This is a book that it's fiction. It's about 6 kids who go out to view an eclipse. And one of the interesting things about it is it shows differences about all the kids in the USA. Some were very geeky, some were very scared of everything. And it shows how they learned about each other and how to get along, as well as giving a lot of facts about the moon. This is where to view project details. This project is still there, but it happened 10 years ago and you need to have an account in the iCollaboratory to get in. Okay, so then I have, of course, learn more. And my projects, there is no charge for any of them. If you want to volunteer, you can send me email. So that was the project 11 years ago now. Now, if we go back to the project now, excuse me. Let's see, I'm not logged in. and I'm going to close the menus and just go down the project slowly. You can see this if you're not logged in. However, in order to participate in the activities, you need to have a username and password. And what I did this time is I simply had the teachers register, and then they made a Padlet that their children, their students could use. But generally, these are just some announcements that I was making. And then there are more announcements here. Here's click to see a slideshow about the first Moon Over Us project. The introduction. Now, I used Sam's images because I thought he did a pretty good job. And it lets kids know that they don't have to be perfect to be in this project. Every moon is not perfect. Sam was a pretty good artist, and I think this is supposed to be Beijing and the Chinese, the river that goes through China. I actually had the project was translated in English and Chinese. Later, there's some Portuguese as well for Brazil. So this is the original survey that the kids took. And it's also the same survey they have now. And it's very interesting to look at the answers from 10 years ago. It actually has answers from kids every year. I've run this project in it. And then this area says for teachers, and I've included club leaders as teachers. So the first thing they need to do is learn how to create a Padlet, and Amritanshu made a video of how to create a Padlet, which is very helpful. Then Team India has a Padlet that they show for everyone. Take photos and record audio of the moon each evening. Save the images. Now, there are a lot of people who didn't follow that. I also said, the example, your student's name, here's her location. This happens to be an example from Pokhara. The time of the observation is very important. The date of the observation is very important. The phase of the moon observed, and the longitude and latitude, and then saying something about everyone's image. I had to keep reminding people of doing that. If kids were not able to access a camera or an internet, this program is set up that they can draw, so they can draw each image instead of taking pictures. Eventually, I think everyone in this project borrowed a camera from their teacher, or their teacher loaned her smartphone out so that the students could all take some images. Then I said, save it in JPEG or PNG format with your name, image type, time, date, out. And this was really hard to get students to do. But I think I finally got the time, date, latitude, longitude, and the type of image it was. Here's an example of student images and a recording data in the classroom Padlet. So again, I've tried to map this out fairly accurately so that you know what the kids are doing. And as teachers, you know what needs to happen here. We also looked at 4 videos. So this is the moon upside down. I love this video because the guy from Australia is just laid back and talks about why the people from the UK see the moon, it looks this way, and why people from Australia see the moon, it looks this way. And then he goes ahead and matches the Sea of Tranquility, the different things that you see on the moon. So you can tell that these are really the same images, but it's just flipped. And that is a fact that even scientists and astrophysicists don't really think about, and they're surprised at. they probably have heard about it once or twice, but unless even people who've been to the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere both look at the moon and they try to figure out why it looks that way. So then we went into moon phases. Moon phases are fun. It's fun to take pictures of the moon phases. And it's actually, then I have this video so that they actually memorize the names of the moon phases. I think many students from India know the Indian names, but they don't know the US names, which is fine. And as I've said this lots of times, it's better for kids to use their own language rather than the one they're struggling to learn. So it's okay if it's in their language. It's okay if it's in English. I think a lot of people do projects from the US so that they can learn English. Then this is a great video about how to take pictures with your smartphone or small digital camera. And this was done by Amrit, whose last name I'm not, is not coming out right now. I actually am not great at pronouncing names, so I try to learn first names, but I don't really often learn everyone's last name. So this is adding comments to Padlet school pages. And it's very important for me that kids have a dialogue in this. It's more important than how beautiful their pictures are, that they learn how to communicate with each other. And this is probably the hardest thing to get from the participants, is have them look at another Padlet and make a comment. It's also difficult if they don't have a great internet connection, so or a phone. I have for the last 3 years, I've tried to make all my projects, I have tried to make them have information on them that can be used on a smartphone or a tablet. If you have a real computer, a laptop or a desktop, that's fantastic. And it's so much more fun to have a bigger screen, but still there are a lot of people in the world who have smartphones, and there are other people who have tablets. And so the software I've selected to use for this program works on smartphones and tablets. And people also learned how to share their Padlets in Zoom using their smartphones or their tablets. This is a place where we have activity 6 is discussions and beliefs about the moon, history, and that's on Padlets now also. I left out discussions here because, again, Padlets are much easier to do this on, and they're also much easier to look at, to find the images. Now, we took pictures with the moon's NASA telescope, and we used their JS9-D4. We learned about FITS images, and we learned how to save FITS images as JPEGs and PNGs. The kids who were more advanced also learned how to animate the FITS images. It's 4L, not 4D, I think. We learned a bit about FITS files. Everyone did not get through this part of the project, which was also okay because kids were various ages, and they also were learning a lot of things. Then for many kids, we identified moon craters. We picked one. We placed something local in the crater, or put the crater in something local. For instance, if you use the state of Nepal, there are some craters on the moon that it fits into, and some craters on the moon that fit into it. So that's kind of a fun thing to do when your kids are that together. Then I have this app called Create a Crater, that you can create a crater on Moon, Mars, and the Earth to see what it does. People also did the, they created a volcano, and had fire coming out of the smoke coming out of the volcano, so that's pretty good. Then at the end of the project, we take another survey. This survey is important because it has your name and your school information on it, so that when you complete it, I can send you a certificate. So the month of December, I'm making certificates. So then I've added stellarium. If you never see the sky, it's nice to be able to look at it. And stellarium, I found out if you're not in the US, the phone-based stellarium costs $5 or €5. If you're in the US, it's free. So I've gone back and found older versions of stellarium that are free in the world, but we actually didn't have time to play with stellarium that much. Some teachers did get into apps that take pictures, apps you can take pictures of the moon with, and you'll see some of those as I go into the next part of this. So I have extra things down here. Since there was an eclipse that happened during this, we did information about the eclipse. One teacher wanted to do some things about tides, but we didn't officially get into that. So I have other information that I can add to this. So that was our project. And again, the most important part of the project for me is not what the kids are doing, but it's actually getting them to interact with the Padlets, getting them to look at other Padlets, getting them to look at other kids' work. Now, let's see, this is the Moon Over Us homepage. So this was the home Padlet page that we did, and it's taking a minute to come in. Oh, this is the one that I did last year, sorry. And the reason this one is here is because during September, the moon is celebrated in different ways. So we have, this is a lot of Kidling members. Kidling is another organization that I belong to, celebrate the August moon in different ways. So we have, this is in China particularly, they have a big celebration, and they do a lot of cooking, a lot with food. And if I click on this, in other countries, so this was just a Harvest Moon project, and you can see different places from Kidling, what they've added. Sri Lanka is also in Kidling, and he put this together very fast. He had his students also make a page. And I didn't know that if you are a Buddhist, you celebrate the full moon every month. So I learned something this time around also. Okay, so now I'm going to close this. All of these are accessible to you through the Padlet. So if you have the address of the Padlet and want to look more, you can. Whoops, I need to go back to this one. Okay, now, this is a video, which is from Sugumar's class, or Sugumar's group, and I think it actually illustrates.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Hi, good evening, everybody. Our kids from kids are drawing. First drawing. They are imagining what.
Sorry, I clicked twice on it.
In their imagination, they are drawing. The girl on the left side is Siddhi. The guy in the middle is Swami. Then the guy who is looking down at the phone, trying to copy, is Sohan. Okay, they are going to draw. I'll take a few snaps, and then I'll post both this video as well as the snap.
Now I'm going to see if I can get it on here once, not twice. So the idea here is that it.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Our kids from
It represents to me the mood that I would like set for this project: calmness, sharing what you do best. So they are telling stories.
India. There is Moon over us, Pan India, April 2021. Kids are drawing, first drawing. They are imagining what the moon would look like in their imagination, and they are drawing. The girl on the left side is Siddhi. The guy in the middle is Swami. Then the guy who is looking down at the phone, trying to copy, is Sohan. Okay, they are going to draw. I'll take a few snaps and then I'll post both this video as well as the.
Okay, that's all I'm going to show you of that. But this page is available for looking at, so you can come back here and look if you want. Amritanshu was very nice to do some translations and explanations in Hindi. So that was pretty good too. This is the page that has all the participants from this time on it. So if you look at their Padlets, you can see many things. And I believe this is also open to you now. But I want you to just look at the number of schools from India that participated. Usually these are schools from other places. These are schools actually from India. And I usually get with this project a group of teachers from one area, and then not so many teachers, maybe a smattering of teachers from other areas. So this is actually cluster team 1 from India, and you can see where the people from India are from. There were also people from Pakistan and people from Dubai, students. The students were in international schools. There were also 2 teachers from Romania and 1 from Uganda. So this is cluster team 2. I'm not going to go over these in any depth. I'm just going to show you the large number. And then I'll scroll up on this side. And then, of course, the average teacher, the average number of kids in the class varies from, our kids in the group varies from maybe 10 to, one teacher said, "You expect me to get all 100 kids to do each of these things?" And I said, well, the Padlet will hold it. So now I'm sort of hurrying on these things. So I'm going to the observatory. I like this little observatory. I don't know how long they're going to keep it up. The reason I like it is because if you don't remember things, it has instructions. So if I go to this and you decide, okay, for this we took pictures of the moon. I want to observe the moon. So it takes me to this page, the field of view. Now I say, try 10 inches because I know you'll get the full moon, or you get a full page of clouds for the moon.
Bonnie ma'am, excuse me, we are not able to see the micro observatory page.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Yeah, now it has come, ma'am.
Now it has come in? Okay. So people can go through and try anything here. I always suggest the 10-inch view because that way they can get the whole full moon. Also, the exposure time, it's important to note that the moon is the brightest object in the sky, except the sun, of course. And so if you want a good picture of the moon, 1/10 of a second is a good optimal, it says, exposure time. If you click 60 seconds, you say, image may be overexposed. Well, generally you get a very bright white screen, or if it's cloudy, you get something else. But then I also add the gray filter, because this way you can see the features. Then I click continue. I need to fill out my email address because they email me the URL for the image when it's done. And that's the only way I can be sure it's my own image. You need to put accurate information in these. They don't care what the information is. I think they do keep records of it, but it's more to know how many people are using this and what age they are. How often have you used these telescopes? Don't be afraid to put anything there because it doesn't stop your picture from going through. How would you rate your astronomy knowledge? This is important also. And may we contact you in the future? That's up to you. Then I put submit. Then after I submit, I wait a day or two and I get a notice for my image. It gives projects and activities. It also gives training resources and analyze images. This is very nice too, because I go through this with you once in class, but then you get to the place where you, can you see all of this, by the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the next day you open it up and you think, oh my word, I don't remember anything, but the tutorial comes in, which really helps you do this. Because the tutorial is automatic, you review it enough times that you learn what to do. And then if you want more, you can go more. Now I'm closing this to let you go through it on the box. And let's see, I don't think I probably have cut some things off there, but I just picked some random science clubs that I wanted to go through. So I actually have these preloaded. So let's see if they don't pick up the preloaded page. Okay. But this is, well, now it's loaded. But let's see, here's the preloaded page. Is this coming in for you all right?
Yes.
Okay. The problem with these pages is as the class goes on, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I had people adding things to them today, which was great. So I thought this image was super, and you can see a shadow of the moon down here. It's coming through the clouds, but I found that a very interesting picture. So as you remember, one of the things in the project was to post pictures. Another item in the project was to create some sort of collage. And the collages are simple to very interesting. So this one is, it looks like the solar eclipse is there, but I thought this page had some very interesting works on it. And as I go down further, like this is a wonderful picture of the moon. I think it looks more like it's some sort of a sonic airplane or something else. This says today's moon, and I'm not sure. I need to look at the date. The date is the 12th day of November. So then I go to the 12th day of November and figure out what kind of moon it is. But the image is excellent. Then there are some drawings down here further. These kids were learning a lot. Moons and Earth's anatomy. So if we look at this image, and I really like Padlet also because it makes thumbnails, and then you can click on them and see the larger image. You're free to make comments. This is actually the movie of the mobile astrophotography that was done, that's on the main page. And I really like that the teachers put this in their Padlet also, so that their kids get a chance to watch it and practice too. Let me see, this is pretty interesting distance of the Earth and the moon. Now there's one picture down here that I thought was, I really like this one too. I like having the pictures of India in these images as well, because I see some things. I've only been to India once, and so I see some things that are one, very creative, and two, I'm learning about the buildings, the foliage, and the fauna in India as well. So if I look at this collage, I see the city, I see homes, I see the tops of buildings, I see some beautiful moons. And I didn't ever find the waning gibbous in this picture, but that's okay. Well, I guess these are all of the waning gibbous. Okay. Now, as I scroll down, there is a word find in here. So if I look at this, there are several people who did this, and it was nice that they got it from each other. They shared where it came from, and I don't know if it's in a workbook or what, but I thought it was an interesting way of learning more about the moon and learning word terms. I really liked this image, one, because a student actually drew this, and two, because it shows many, many spots in the moon, many, many places. So at any rate, I'm not going through all of these for you. I thought this putting the moon in your hand, holding the moon in your hand was kind of cool. The artwork is simply gorgeous throughout all of these Padlets. This image has a very good eye, the moon, and look what's up there again, Venus. So, or was it Jupiter? So here we go. This one is pretty cool. This one is the moon, Jupiter, and an airplane. So at any rate, you can see there are comments on some of the images, but not all of the images, the collages and so forth. All right, so we'll close this one and go back to this. So let's see, then I'm probably talking too long, am I? This is
No, it's okay. You can go on for another 5 minutes.
okay. This is Student Rover's page, and I was going to show you some things. Sorry about that. You can see collages when the sky was blue. You know, the sun was up to take these pictures. You can see collages. So here's someone's moon collection. These drawings, whoops, that just came up as a strip. Let's see if I can find. There were several people who drew the different faces of the moon, just the individual faces, that I liked very much. But again, some of these drawings are things they memorize and learn how to make with their own hands. This was very cool. This is a Padlet that the kids from the class did with, actually one student did with just his artwork and a few images. So I was impressed with that. And then I thought his background was also pretty cool. So now let's see if I close this. And I close this. And I close this. This is back to Student Rovers. Okay, then this is the National Astronomy Challenge. Again, the images of the moon are great, and you can see the animation that happened. So beyond looking at craters of the moon and the other things about the moon, there are other items you can figure out, or we had a lesson on this, about how to use JS9. And one of the things that I learned to do in JS9 this time, and I don't really teach, I learn from people. So there were a lot of ideas put forward in this class. Like, I have never tried to do this with JS9. I've done it with other software, but not this micro observatory software. These pictures are amazing. This is one that I was really impressed with. I love purple, so there we go. And I haven't had time to comment on all of these because there are just too many. I think I'm going to have enough of a challenge making out certificates for students who did wonderful jobs. But this collage is actually quite creative and quite lovely. So I am going to let someone else talk about this page. Let's see, I'm going here now. This is the contributor's Padlet from Ignited Minds. And I have to say on this one that I was very impressed that the deaf students were actually learning the information here and doing a variety of things. Also, the teachers of the deaf students made signs. They have sign language about the moon now. And here's a gift created from micro observatory files. This GIF or GIF was very good. If I click on, let's see, I want to click on the page first. Well, there, all right. Now, so we have an animation. We can tell that it's an animation because of the blinking of the lights, but look at the moon. I don't think these pictures are from a telescope, but we see the moon traveling 1 hour later every day to get to its shape and finally disappear. So this is a wonderful time-lapse video. Device used. So it really, the instructions, the information about it tell you how you can do this and where it's from. And so that's something that if you want to do more advanced work with your students, more advanced photography, you can pick that up right away. But I love the smiles on the kids' faces. And there are some videos of them signing here also. Their teacher is here, and so is, I believe this is the principal. All right. Now we've seen that page. And I think now I've really overused my time. So I am going to go ahead and turn this over to whoever is next. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Bonnie, for a lovely talk. And it was very interesting to hear of what all the students are doing with Moon Over Us. But since we are running short of time, I'll rush on to the next speaker. Our next speaker now is Amritan Shuvajpay, who's going to talk about, who's adding on to what Bonnie just told us about. He's the national coordinator of the Saptarishi India WIPNet Asteroid Search Campaign under ISC, as well as he's an amateur astronomer, astrophotographer, trained science communicator by Vigyan Prasar, and a trained science documentary writer. So welcome, Amritanshu, and we all look forward to hearing from you. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. I hope I am audible to you all.
Yep, you are.
So greetings all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the people who are joining us from the different corners of the globe. Or in fact, corner is the wrong word, from the different areas or the regions around the globe. And I just would like to add on to what Bonnie ma'am has said. See, there are three types of ways in which we can put our what we can say working methodology in front of others. The first one is a soliloquy, second is a monologue, and the third is a dialogue. This is a dialogue which Bonnie ma'am has stressed upon ever since the minute one. Now, whenever we see any astronomical feature, or in fact, whenever we are in a reflecting mood, and when we want to seek the answer of who am I, we always turn to nature. We need to appreciate the nature. We need to appreciate the vibrance of the nature. And this project, Moon Over Us, which is an international level dialogue project, especially aimed at the observational astronomy with the naked eyes, and if possible, technology add-ons later on. It is a very, very important feature as far as the seeker of the nature is concerned, from a very tender age to a very, very mature age. There are three words again: art, craft, and science. This Moon Over Us, despite being a citizen science project, it stands out a distance from the others. And the reason being, it's a very, very simple observational project which can serve out as a launch pad for a lot many careers to begin with. Just imagine a class 7th or a class 8th student talking about the meridian. Just imagine a very young kid talking about where the moon rises, where the moon sets, when the moon is available in the sky at a very tender age, and then building a foundation for astronomy and later being an astrophysicist in the later age. So this Moon Over Us helps us to appreciate the moon in various manners. As we have seen in the different presentations that were shown by Bonnie ma'am, we can appreciate the moon aesthetically. The moon can be appreciated poetically. It can be appreciated mathematically. It can be appreciated geographically, and it can also be appreciated observationally. It depends upon you. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. There are two of the biggest lies that have always been maintained in everybody's life since childhood. The one of the biggest, first of the lies is sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And ever since I have been, you can say, worked with that Zero Shadow Day, the workshop that was being put up by Dr. Priya Hassan ma'am, who is the host and the moderator also, that lie is busted. The second lie that I have maintained, actually, frankly speaking, it's not a lie, but I am just want to stress upon the matter of the facts. The second thing is, moon rises in the night and stays all together throughout the night, enlightening the sky. Now, after doing this project, it percolates into the minds of the people at a very young age, and even to the people who boast that they have seen the moon, but they have not seen the moon. Because moon, after doing such sort of projects, the citizen science projects, which are the necessity of the day and the need of the hour, at the stroke of the Azadi's Amrit Mahotsav, the 75th India's year of Indian independence, I give an open call for the students to come out and participate. Because when you shall participate in such sort of observational projects, what you shall see is moon enjoys a symbiotic relation with the sun, which is oscillatory in nature. Now, this oscillatory world, you can just think over it, why I am calling it oscillatory in nature. Oscillatory in terms of timings. Moon does not rise the same day. As Bonnie ma'am has said, it is lazy. It oscillates. Sometimes moon rises in the morning, sometimes you see it in the evening, sometimes you see it later in the night, sometimes it's available throughout the night, sometimes it sets as you can say at 11:30 or 11:45 or even afternoon in the morning. Sometimes you can see moon setting in the morning and rising in the night. Sometimes you can see moon setting in the evening and rising in the morning. That is the oscillatory nature and the beauty of the moon. The second oscillatory relation that you shall see will be the direction. As we are always aware, one thing is always stressed upon: there is a northward movement and the southward movement of the sun, which in India is known as Uttarayan Gati and Dakshinayan Gati. Similarly, moon too has an oscillatory nature. It oscillates from north of northeast to the south of southwest, that region from the rising to the setting. The third and important thing which you shall see in not all the objects, it is very much visible moon through the naked eye, sometimes to the Venus if you are observing it with the help of scopes, telescopes in fact, is the shape or the phases. So this is an entire compendium of knowledge that is being presented by Mother Nature. We can appreciate it and we need to inculcate it as a culture, as a legacy, to make it forward, carry it forward for the sake of the betterment of the observational astronomy and the careers also, because it can be a stepping stone for the students in the different fields. You can learn geometry through the moon, as Mila ma'am's Padlet will show when Mila ma'am shall showcase the Padlets. Sugumar sir will talk about. You can learn poetry from the moon. You can appreciate nature from the moon. You can do the photography from the moon. You can formulate n types of careers simply by looking at one moon. And this is the need of the hour, especially for the students, because India is blessed with the clear skies for a major part of the year. And I just would like to end up or wind up by saying, become observant, become vibrant, and feel oneness with nature. Come forward. Let's contribute to Azadi's Amrit Mahotsav by observing moon more and more with the naked eye and contributing to the field of astronomy. Thanks a lot, Priya ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Amritanshu, for a nice this session. And now we move on to our next speaker, Sugumar sir. Please, you can start sharing.
I have good evening, everybody. I am Sugumar. Namaskar, Vanakkam, all the languages. Whatever the language you are suitable to hear, it is okay. Right. I have been involved in this project since last 2 years with the help of Bonnie ma'am. And this has come to India as a gift or something like that you can say to the kids of the Indian. The kids, I believe, are the one who are supposed to be learning more about the science and then about the astronomy. We have been told when we were kids and not accepting the meals provided by the mother, moms used to sing a song and then say, in my language, if I say, my mother used to say, Nila Nila Odiva, Nila Mal Odiva. And that is how she has made me to have
So sorry to interrupt, but the audio is a little low. Could you speak a little louder, please? Yeah. We can hear you, but very softly.
Let me see if my audio setting is okay. Anyway, and I am speaking, as it is, I am speaking very low. I'm not talking loudly. Yes, the kids are supposed to be learning many things from this project. And what I would like more is from the kids to take photographs, write poetry, and do some drawings, and exchange the same thing with your own group of students or friends, and also with the people who are there in the project. This does not end at Indian view only. We go abroad. We have many students from different continents and different countries. That gives an added advantage for the kids to interact with the different people. And I must say one thing here about this nature of the Indian students. Not only Indian students, I can say even the Indian teachers have this feeling that I should not talk now. I have been giving lectures, and I've been asking people to come and speak out. What you want to say, you speak out. And none of them speaks. But I would like everybody to speak up and share their views. And this is a platform where you can get a lot of information about the moon. Not only that, different technologies, different way of writing poems and drawings. And in our next project, it is going to be a much more refined one that will make students really love this project. And also the teachers. as I learned many things from this project. This is my third project I am in, and I learned a lot in this one. And the same way that many teachers are going to learn. It's not that we teachers are all well-learned one. We are also learning, and you will be learning, and we should be imparting the knowledge what we receive from this project to the kids, and then learn from them. The kids are the real teachers, and I think we should learn from them to do the things. I have learned how to make the collage of photographs, and I love it. I thank Boni ma'am and the organizers a lot, and thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, Sugumar sir. So we were hearing Sugumar sir, who is the convener of Mars India Observatory and Mars SG India Asteroid Search Campaign under ISC. He's also an amateur astronomer and astrophotographer. Thank you, sir, so much for talking to us. And we'll now proceed to our last speaker for today. That's Dr. Mila Mitra. And Mila Mitra is the co-founder and academic head of STEM in Space, an educational organization that encourages education through space domain. She's worked at NASA on missions like Cosmic Background Explorer. She's an active science communicator and has coordinated projects such as the Asteroid Search Campaign for more than 10 years, as well as Globe at Night, Asteroid Day, etc. She gives regular public talks and writes a monthly science column in media. So welcome, Mila ma'am, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Dr. Priya Hassan and Dr. Hassan for inviting me. And I had this great opportunity to join the Moon Over Us project this year. And it's been a great experience bringing in a whole large group of students and involving them in this project. And it's thanks to Bonnie and thanks to Amritanshu and Sugumar sir that they have guided the teachers and the students every week. So every week we had new challenges, and in turn, I could guide all the students through these kind of challenges. So I'll just give a quick look at the kind of Padlet my students made. And through that, you can get a glimpse of the kind of work that students have done. Yeah, so I think Bonnie was showing this Padlet before. This is, I'm doing this Padlet on behalf of National Astronomy Challenge, which is a challenge being hosted by us for students. So a large group of students have participated, more than 200 students, and we have been doing webinars with them to guide them on this project. So yes, of course, the first thing they learned is about the project and how to use Padlets. And then they started really enjoying using the Padlet, and we took them through challenges. And of course, this Padlet is situated so that the last thing is at the top. So here you see collages. They learned to create collages, like Sugumar sir also said. And so we encourage them to take different photos of the moon in different phases, or just different pictures from different locations. And also we taught them to use the micro observatory that Bonnie showed. And through that, they took different pictures of the moon and did collages. We also did a challenge where they did a painting competition. So as Amritanshu mentioned, that creativity was a big part of the Moon Over Us project. So students can not only learn about the moon, the features of the moon phases, but they also learn to express it in very beautiful ways. So what we did is hosted a painting competition. And I'm quickly scrolling down, but we had really beautiful paintings. As you can see, we can some of them. Some of them are very creative, and some of them try to express their own imagination about what they would see on the moon. So you can click, as Bonnie showed, you can click and expand any photograph. So this was a fun way to encourage them to depict their idea of moon exploration. So yes, this was a painting competition. And we also taught them, we also did a webinar on how to photograph the moon and thanks to Amit Raka, who's also part of this group. So our students were encouraged to photograph the moon with mobile phones or with cameras and post over it. So we call these different challenges, challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3, and this kept the kids very interested, and they were commenting on each other's photographs, and they were looking at other Padlets. So I just want to share that this has been a great experience for me and my students to get into a project which has been a month long, and they have had the experience, so many different experiences, including using the micro observatory and learning about the Padlet, photographing the moon, and painting the moon. So thank you, everyone. And I just wanted to share my experiences as bringing in new students to the project this year.
Thanks so much, Mila ma'am. Thanks so much. I think this is such an exciting project which has so many interesting things. And that's how I think there are not many questions. I've been asking people for questions, but I don't see any questions. So, but do write to us if you all have any questions. And I would now invite Hassan sir to give some closing remarks, which he wanted to make on the moon. Yeah.
Thank you for the excellent presentations. There was a lovely presentation by Boni ma'am, Amritanshu, Sugumar sir, and Mila ma'am. And very beautifully you showed the importance of this project, Moon Over Us. And one thing I'm tempted to speak about is Moon has played a very big role on life on Earth. The impact which created the moon that led to the density of Earth going up, and that impact has resulted in a very strong magnetic field which still survives. Then the study of moon inspired Newton to understand gravity. There's a very famous three-body problem. If you try to study the motion of a star, say the sun and one planet which goes around it, the two-body problem can be very well solved. But if you take three bodies, like we have the sun, earth, and moon system, this has resulted in creation of a lot of beautiful mathematics, right from Newton formalizing calculus. And in fact, Newton used to say this, studying the moon, the lunar theories give me headaches. So the study of the motion of moon is not very trivial, and it has inspired us to develop calculus, perturbation theory, stability theory, and in the 20th century we have the calm theory, Kolmogorov-Arnold-Moser theory. So a lot of mathematicians, starting from Newton all the way up to the 20th century, all the best mathematicians, may it be Lagrange, may it be Jacobi, may it be Hill, Hamilton, Kolmogorov, all the way up to Moser, and they have studied the motion of the moon. So moon has inspired us to build a lot of very sophisticated mathematics, which comes a very long way. So I thank you all for this lovely session, and I hope it inspires our young minds, young students to study the moon very seriously. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks a lot. That was to add up to the importance of the moon. That's how we've had a whole session on the moon itself. I'm still looking for some questions. I don't see anything. I think it has just been such a pleasure. Everyone's been so happy hearing all this. So thanks a lot. And we will meet again next Friday. That would be our final session for this year. We will obviously meet again next year. So do meet us next Friday at the same time for our next webinar on citizen science projects. Yeah. So thanks a lot and bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. One sec, I can get everyone on and we can all see.
Reactions.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks a lot, everyone. And
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, I will do that too.
Mr. Manoj Verma has raised his hand, I think.
You have a question? I don't.
Manoj.
Manoj Verma, do you have a question? Or I think no, I don't think so. Okay. Okay. See you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.